NeIC has recently launched a new activity called Nordic e-infrastructure services. The new list of services can be accessed through NeIC's front page. Tomasz and Ilja will now tell us a bit more about the new list of services. What is the new Nordic e-infrastructure services page for?
The primary goal is to disseminate the information about Nordic infrastructure services among the interested parties in the Nordics. And in the settings by Nordics, we understand 5 Nordic countries and Estonia. Other goals are realizing the Nordic strategy set by Nordic Council of Ministers for us, by Nordforsk and by NeIC. And last but not least, this will also give the service providers the very good opportunity to market their services and make them even better visible and perhaps even increase the user base of those.
To add to that, it's also a way how we can offer some common information about services due to the ongoing harmonization of services and service providers done primarily within the EOSC Nordic currently and with the Dillinger project before.
Why and when did the activity begin?
So from the technological perspective, it started probably with the Dillinger project. The Dillinger project in its scope needed to figure out which services are available for sharing across the border. So that was a somewhat scoped activity. So Dillinger concentrated and is concentrating on the high-performance computing services primarily. The scope of the Nordic infrastructure services is slightly wider. But Dillinger put a quite a good basis for setting up the first version of the Nordic infrastructure services.
Now in the current strategy of NeIC for years 2020 to 2025, we also have the dissemination of information about the services as one of the key activities in the beneficial collaborations strategic area. Within the work of Dillinger, we actually also scoped in the first place what services are, because there are all kinds of definitions on the market of what the services are. We managed to narrow down this definition such that our Nordic infrastructure service, in our understanding, is service that fulfills 4 conditions. Number 1, it complies with EOSC rules of participation that are now being defined. Number 2, it is accessible across borders, at least in the Nordics. Number 3, it can be automated or it is already automated, the access to it. And last but not least, the service provider agrees to have it listed on our list. So these are the 4 conditions, and this, I think, makes us one of the forerunners in the field with coming up with the ready-made list already now at this stage.
Sure. I mean, the goal is not to produce another catalog or another list, but to actually create a list of services that are ready and are used. So the dissemination channel is intended to be for really useful services.
How does this new list of services then connect with EOSC Nordic?
Well, it's a big project, but the activity which connects the most to the services is Work Package 3, under which the service discovery in the Nordics is performed. So another aspect of Work Package 3 is the maturing of the services in order to become a production service from the point of view of European Open Science Cloud. Now we see that the lists of services that we discover within EOSC Nordic and services that we promote within the Nordic infrastructure services is overlapping to a high degree. So if a service offering is being done in a way that it's acceptable or usable across the Nordics, then most probably it's also a service for the EOSC. So there is a high synergy there. And if a service provider would like to benefit from the maturity model of maturating of the primarily IT services, or it would like to be more exposed not just on the Nordic level, but on the EOSC level, so we want to make sure that this is done through one location, so to say, through one channel, to avoid too many parallel activities happening.
in the EOSC Nordic project there is work package 6, and one integral part of the work package 6 is so-called knowledge hub. And in this knowledge hub that is now being defined and constructed, our list of Nordic infrastructure services is going to play an integral part. What
does the future hold for the activity?
I think the future is bright. What we see now that our service providers in the Nordic context came very eagerly to be the part of the list. Moreover, also Ilya's work in EOSC Nordic on work package 3 that Ilya is leading. It's about the policies. It's indeed about defining the services on the European level. So there is a clear synergy, as Ilya mentioned, and I think one can say even role model for such services list will contribute to the work done through the EOSC in general, not only EOSC Nordic, but EOSC, and also maybe even broader if there are some joint initiatives.
Sure, just to add to that, I mean, what you currently see on the website is a beginning. So we will work on polishing that to make it more interesting, to make it more usable. We welcome everybody to send feedback if you see that some aspect of the service needs to be brought out, whether from the point of view of the service provider or potentially a NeIC project that would like to use one of the services that would require additional information.
Welcome all the researchers in the Nordics, in Europe, and also above to get acquainted with the list. It's now divided into 3 categories. We have the HPC services, we have the infrastructure as a service services, for instance, sensitive data cloud as a service. Then we have also the training as a service, ranging from carpentry to biodiversity. We really aim to help as wide user base as possible with this in collaboration with the national infrastructure providers that are providing these services. The challenges that the users of these services are tackling are very important for us, even for our everyday life. To give an example, if there is a precision medicine study there is also the climate change modeling involved. I think there is the user base that could benefit from it is very broad.